Alright, it's finally time to fix the squeaky brakes. So there's been an ongoing issue with the Belle for quite some time, basically since I first put it together. But from what I understand, it's a common issue with this style of rotor and caliper assembly. So essentially, what causes the issue is that the pads don't actually retract away from the rotor. They make contact with the rotor kind of at all times, but obviously with almost no pressure on them, that really doesn't wear too much. The challenge I run into is essentially when I'm going at slow speed and the rotors have heated up, they have this slight squeak at certain points in the rotation. So every single rotation, I get a little squeak. Now, as you can imagine, when you're driving an eye-catching car, going downtown, something like that, all heads are already turning to look at you. But if you're squeaking in a kind of embarrassing way as you go there, it's just extra annoying because obviously it's already an old car and people are like, what is that janky thing, right? So I've already tried, the anti-squeal compound. I've had these apart once before, and through my research it says basically if that doesn't work, oftentimes it's the type of pad you're using. So if you're using a semi-metallic pad, those are more likely to squeak, and therefore, that's probably my issue. I'm guessing these were a cheaper semi-metallic pad that came with the kit, and that's what's been causing the squeak. So I've got my hands on some ceramic pads made by Acabano, and we're gonna swap the pads out on this thing and see if that resolves the issue. So, knowing my track record with brake pads, I double-checked this kit to make sure these look correct, and I'm referencing when I did my Jaguar brakes, thinking I had the right pads, pulled everything apart, realized I didn't actually have the pads I thought I had. So, these do look correct at the initial glance, comparing them to the pads while they're still in the caliper. Close enough to where I feel comfortable now taking the caliper off and doing another more side-by-side inspection. And I conveniently already had the car apart because I'm making a different video right at the same time as this about replacing the shock absorbers. The timing worked out perfectly to where I was able to actually do both of these at once, so you should go check out that video as well if you're curious about how the front shocks work on a X-frame Chevy with airbags. Fun. That's a nice noise. All right. Come on. Aha! Got it. All right, got her zip tied up. So you can probably see there is a ton of brake dust on these. So I'm going to give these things a clean as well as the other brake components as well. Okay, after a couple of interludes, we are back at it. I've cleaned down the caliper and the pins and the other parts around there. Got most of the brake dust off of those, so it's time to put the new pads in. So I'm just going to get some grease on those, drop them in just like the other ones came out, and hopefully we're putting this thing back together in the next 10 minutes. And just like magic, it's back in. Essentially all I did was grease all the contact surfaces on the brake pads. There's a standard procedure for that if you want to look it up. That's not what this video is about, so I don't want to waste your time with it. But they are back on. Here we go. Cleaned, and they look good. All right, both sides are back on. And they're all greased up and everything. So I'm going to do one last step. And basically I'm just going to hit the brake pedal to see if I can just seat these pads down before I put the wheels on, just to make sure they move properly. As predicted, all the way to the floor on the first one because I pushed the piston all the way back in. But they did engage. So I'm going to get the wheels back on the car real quick and get it back on the ground so I can start the engine. And that way we have power brakes as well. And then pretty much from there, I can kind of check and make sure they're functioning properly, that they engage and disengage, and then I'll probably take the car on a test drive and we'll see if the squeal's gone away. right, the wheels are back on. Just pumping up the compressors, or the tank I should say, right now. That way I can put some pressure in the front bags. That way when I lower it down, it doesn't immediately just lay frame. So as soon as we have that pumped up, we'll get this thing standing on all 4 feet again. The Eagle has landed. Alright, we're going to get some heat in there, and then we'll be going off for a cruise. I am the sun. It's so bright. I'm going to talk to you from down here for a second. So I just rolled the car forward, rolled the car back in gear, and just made sure it actually had brakes, which we do. So everything's pretty much good to go. They felt as good as they did before. Obviously, there is a break-in period with new pads, so it recommends not doing any hard stops. You know, don't fly up to highway speed and then slam the brakes. Just do normal city driving, and then try and keep it, you know, from too many long stops. So I think we're just about ready to go for a cruise here and just test to make sure the brakes actually work. And then if we go far enough, we'll get them heated up and see if they squeal like they used to. All right, we're about to hit the brakes for the first time here in a normal driving situation. They seem pretty quiet. See all sorts of cool stuff in my town. So right about now is where it normally starts squeaking. We're on Central Ave, and usually right as I turn on, the heat's built up enough to be annoying. So right now it would have been slowly squeaking. So far so good. Hey, we got something else sweet coming along too. And again, coming to a full stop, no squeaks. Tell you what, I think this has been pretty good success. I mean, I'm driving my way home right now, and we'll see if anything develops between now and then, but it's been quiet as anything, quietest it's ever been. Normal stopping and slow driving, which were the two issues, have both been dead silent, which is amazing. Alright, so I did a bunch more driving with the brake in downtown, and basically I didn't hear a single peep out of them the whole time. Normal braking, dead silent. Slow cruise, which again was the most annoying thing in the world. It would just go squeak, 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 and it didn't do it once. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, you know, post an update if anything changes, but I think that's a huge win. So just changing those pads out to ceramics, and I think that was really the only thing I changed. I lubricated them the same way I did last time. So really just those semi-metallics were not really the best for this application, I guess. So I don't know, easy win, I guess. You know what time it is. It's the time that I say, if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe. I know it seems silly, but if you take 2 seconds to subscribe, it really does actually help us a ton. And honestly, it's you know, a small little thing that can go so far for us. So if you've enjoyed any of the content you've seen from us before, or if you just want to see more of this car or the Jags or any other cool stuff we got going on, please do hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps this channel. So thank you, and we'll catch you on the next one.